Hey everybody, this is Mr. Carlsbad, and we're going to be breaking down today 2 things you can do to prevent yourself from being a victim of wire fraud, or identity theft in a real estate transaction, and some of the most common things that we see to look out for. So let's jump into it. So the most common type of wire fraud in a real estate transaction is when someone will send an email, usually a buyer or seller, with their financial information to, in California here, we have escrow, which is the neutral third party. Some states have attorneys, but we have escrow here in California, and they'll send that information. The client will send it to the escrow officer or what they think is the escrow officer. And unfortunately, a lot of times it can be a hacker. So the first thing you can do to prevent yourself from being a victim of one of these kind of crimes is, number one, do not email your personal, full banking information, sensitive information to the escrow officer. I will always instruct our clients to call the escrow officer or one of the team members that works with the escrow officer over the phone for any of that information. This is critically important and probably the biggest thing that you can do to protect yourself in these real estate transactions. So always call the escrow officer, the title officer, to verify over the phone that sensitive information. We don't want you to be put at risk. So that's number one. So that's the most common way that we see it. Again, the criminals, they will pretend to be the escrow officer. Sometimes they'll pretend to be the real estate agent, and they'll try to get that information. So just make sure you're calling your real estate agent or broker, or you're calling the escrow officer to deal with that over the phone so that you can verify. And likewise, your agent and the escrow agent can verify as well that everything is good to go. So that's number one. Number two is to, again, work with professionals who have systems in place to minimize the risk of one of these kind of crimes happening to you. So again, the escrow providers that we work with, we're our clients, they have systems and protocols, processes in place to triple, quadruple check. These are more often than not, real estate transactions are often the largest, amount of money that people are dealing with in their lives. So it is critically important to me, to the providers that we work with for our clients, that everything goes smoothly and we are not having any issues on that front, and you guys are protected. So just make sure that the professionals you're working with are doing that. It seems like something that would be common sense, but details get missed, and when they do, that's when these bad things can happen. All right, so those are the 2 things you guys can do. One last thing I want to talk about as well. It's less common, but it's becoming something that I'm seeing more and more of as a crime, and very hard to deal with. But I think, fortunately we have, good escrow providers here in California, title officers. We're all going to have to be really vigilant about this, but I am seeing more hackers, fraudsters, whatever you want to call them, that will try to, they'll pretend to be a homeowner that claims to be selling, 123 Main Street, and they'll get, a valid offer from a buyer's agent or a buyer on their property. And a lot of times the homeowner, isn't selling their property. You're getting somebody to, imitate them illegally that wants to try to get that money. So it's something to watch out for. And, fortunately, again, I think escrow officers, title officers, agents, and brokers, we have to be on the lookout for this kind of, illegal activity. It's very hard to trace. And, we have to verify and communicate. So something to look out for. Again, if you're a buyer or a seller, just make sure you are speaking over the phone with your professionals, that they have all of these things in place to make sure you are secure, your transaction is secure. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. I'm Mr. Carlsbad. Thanks for tuning in.